welcome back to another video. This really popped when I saw it. That to me is a monster increase. Again, this book got hot. This book is ready to go higher. So let's jump right into it. We are back today with another statue review from Diamond Select Toys. Without further ado, let's get into the review. What is good, YouTube? This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles, and thank you guys for joining me for another video. Today we have another Hot 10 breakdown of the week. If you guys aren't familiar with what I do in this video, I take the 10 hottest comics according to the Key Collector app, and I break them down for you guys, telling you out there if I'm buying these comics at these prices or staying the hell away. Before we get started, like we always do, if you guys aren't subscribers of the channel, do me a favor, click that subscribe button, smash the hell out of that like button. You guys know I'm giving a Thanos diorama away to one lucky subscriber. Once we hit 4K, we're almost there. Let's get there as soon as possible. With that said, let's get into this week's breakdown. At number 10 this week is a copy of Rick and Morty #1, the premier issue inspired by the original animated series, and a CGC 9.4, just sold the prior week for $285, up 7% over the average. You guys know I don't collect modern books. I'm not really a huge fan of this show, so there's no way in hell I'm spending close to $300 on a 9.4 copy. If you guys want to own it, I suggest buying a 9.8, but you guys know for me, I'm staying away. At number 9 on this list is a copy of Star Wars Clone Wars #1, the variant cover by Dave Filoni, and the first appearance of Ahsoka Tano in a comic book, and a CGC 9.8, just sold last week for a crazy $9,244, up 5% over the average. This falls into the category for me for the 1 in 25 Ultimate Fallout 4 Dejevik variant. I don't know why anyone in their right mind would spend 10 grand on a modern variant comic. I get it's a big first appearance. I get it's Star Wars. But when I see the major Star Wars people, like Star Wars #1, Luke Skywalker, Yoda, all those books, not anywhere near these books. I don't give a shit if it's a variant cover. You guys are nuts for spending that kind of money. At number 8 this week is a copy of Silver Surfer #4, and the first battle between Silver Surfer and Thor. But not only that, this is an iconic cover by the great John Buscema, and a CGC 9.0, just sold last week for $4,320, up 18% over the average. Now this is a book we can get into for that kind of cash. A 9.0 of one of the best classic covers out there in comic book history. You guys know I'm all over this one. You don't need a 9.0, just own this book. That's how awesome it is. But the higher the grade, the better, like always. At number 7 on this list is a copy of Ghost Rider #1, and the first appearance of Ghost Rider in his own solo title. But not only that, this is also the first cameo appearance of Damian Hellstrom, and a CGC 9.2, just sold last week for $1,650, up 5% over the average. I will say this, you guys know I love these Bronze Age Ghost Riders. If you're going to spend that kind of money, it's better off to put towards the first appearance, Marvel Spotlight 5. But hey, I want to own this book. I definitely want it in the collection. I don't need to spend a crazy amount of money to get it. I think anything over a 450 is great to have in the collection, but definitely a must own. At number 6 this week is a copy of Wolverine #1 from the Limited series. Of course, this is the first solo title and the first cameo appearance of Yukio. Not to mention this iconic artwork by the great Frank Miller, and a CGC 9.6, just sold last week for $388, up a whopping 29% over the average. Now, I told you guys last week I love this book. I do want it in the collection, but there's no way I'm forking up that kind of cash to get this book in a severe high grade. Again, if you want to own the book, put it in the collection. I don't think it's an investment book, but definitely a book worth owning. At the 5 spot on this list is a copy of The Last of Us American Dreams #1, the prequel comic series released 2 months prior to the video game launch. Again, I told you last week I wasn't familiar with this book, and I'm not familiar now, but a CGC 9.8, just sold the prior week for $1,190, up 8% over the average. You guys know if I'm not familiar with a book, there's no way in hell I'm paying $2,000 to own a copy of it. I don't think modern books can go for these prices unless down the line they have major characters that have history going for them way down the line. Regardless, this is a thumbs down for me. I'd say stay away from this one unless you're a crazy The Last of Us fan. At number 4 this week is a return of a monster key. It is a copy of Avengers #8 and the first appearance of Kang the Conqueror, and a CGC 4.5. Just sold the prior week for $1,050, up 7% over the average. Now, I told you guys a few months back when this book started to drop, I might be a buyer once it got to a certain point, and we may be bottoming out right now since this book is starting to go higher. I think that Kang the Conqueror is going to have a major role, obviously, going forward in the MCU over the next 3 to 5 years. I love what they've done with the character so far, but keep in mind, if you're going to buy this book right now, it's got to be for the long term. If it's for the short term, stay away. Let it come back down after all the movies come, and then if you want to add it, you can. But for now, it's only a buy if you're willing to hold. At the 3 spot this week is a copy of Tales of Suspense number 94 and the first appearance of MODOK. We all know he's going to show up in the new Ant-Man movie, and a CGC 7.5. Just sold the prior week for $440, up 11% over the average. When this book was on the list about 6 months ago, I told you guys to stay away. It was on the list last week. I told you to stay away. And now what am I going to say? Same thing. There's no reason to be buying this book right here, right now. After the movie comes out and we're all done with the character, that's when I'd go ahead and pick this book up once it has dropped. I don't think 400 and change is bad for a CGC 7.5, but again, I'd rather not spend the money while this book is going up. At the 2 spot this week is a book that I absolutely love. It is a copy of Marvel Premiere number 47 and the first appearance of Scott Lang as the new Ant-Man. Not only that, this is the first appearance of Cassie Lang, his daughter, as well. And a CGC 9.6, just sold last week for $524, up 12% over the average. I've told you guys this before, this is not an investment book, but it is a book I love and that I want in my collection. I'm not spending $500 on a copy of this, but I will try to pick up a lower grade copy if I can for around $100 to $150. Hey, this book can be had for a deal at times, so make sure you're looking out. And at the top spot for the 2nd week in a row and 11 weeks on this list, it is a copy of Omega Men number 3 and the first appearance of Lobo, and a CGC 9.8, just sold last week for $410, up 24% over that average. But the high still of the last couple of months is $450, so that's still down over that last sale. Regardless, guys, you guys know how I feel. I'm sick in hell of talking about this book. Get it off the list. There's no way anybody should be buying copies of this book for 400 and change. Get it off here. I don't want to see it on the list next week. You guys hear me? Hope you guys enjoyed this one. This was a fun one to do. Again, it's now time for my best buy of the week, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. It is a copy of Silver Surfer number 4 and that classic cover by John Buscema. Everybody should own this book in your collection. Again, I picked up my raw copy about 6 months ago to a year ago for a steal at a local show. Go ahead and buy this book for the long term. You will only thank me later. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.